Fear is your friend. I'm sure you hear that all the time. Or perhaps you've never heard it. What would your world look like if fear was your friend? What would your life be like if fear was your friend? Isn't it interesting when you think there's fear in somebody's eyes? Fear is not your friend normally. Fear is associated like this. It is something to be scared of. It's not normally your friend, it's your enemy. Most people are scared of sharks. Sharks are a top predator. They're something you should be scared of. However, around the globe, there are less than 82 shark attacks around the world. 82. Why are we scared of them if there's only 82 unprovoked shark attacks? Because we know they're a top predator. They're a torpedo with teeth. They should be scared. But with 82 shark attacks, we probably shouldn't be that scared. Why are we scared of them? Because back in the mid-80s, there was a film called Jaws produced. Hollywood produced a fantastic film, which has since made us all scared of sharks. It's automatic now. You hear the word shark, you're scared of it. Well, surely you are then scared of the toilet, aren't you? I'm guessing most of you aren't scared of the toilet, unless you're following somebody in that's had a vindaloo the night before. Then you might be a little bit scared of it. Why should you be scared of the toilet? In America, on an annual basis, there's 33,000 people injured by the toilet. So surely we should all be scared of the toilet. But the problem with fear, it's not logical. It's not something that just because there's 33,000 accidents happen, it automatically makes you scared. Now, back in January, I went on a trip to Thailand. And as part of the journey, we went on a day trip to Phi Phi Island. Now, Phi Phi Island, for those that don't know, is where The Beach was filmed with Leonardo DiCaprio. It's a beautiful place. We decided to take a day trip there. We decided to take a speedboat across because it's much quicker than the ferry, which takes a few hours. So the morning came of the trip, we arrived at the marina. We were really excited about this trip. We arrived into a room, there's quite a lot of people there, and this young lady stands at the front and introduces herself, "Good morning, everybody," and then she says, "Good news. We've never had anybody die on one of our trips." Well, that is good news, because I didn't want to die. She then says, "Bad news. We regularly have people that are injured or sick on our trips." Now that's not so good news. She then points to a bowl at the front of the room. This bowl is full of tablets. And she says, "Travel sickness tablets. We get a lot of people that get sick, so go and help yourself." You almost get trampled as all these people rush towards this bowl and start filling their pockets with them. They all sit down and relax again. She then carries on talking. And she holds up this: a dive mask and snorkel. Part of the trip involves the opportunity to do some snorkeling. We knew this. So she's holding them up, says, "Great news. You get a set of these to use today." Bad news. We only replace them once a year. That's okay. They're still reasonably new after a year, aren't they? She goes back to thinking that 1 year. Now, as an average, the mask and the snorkel are used 3 times a day. Throughout the average year, they don't take many days off in Thailand, about 1,000 times the average set is used. Okay, still logical, still not that scary. Now imagine the snorkel. Where does the snorkel go? It goes into your mouth. And as an average, 3 times a day, 1,000 times, 1,000 different mouths. Now the average mouth has 500 to 600 bacteria, which produce over 20 billion microbes. Now, how are you all feeling? I bet all your stomach's gone, oh, the idea of putting that in your mouth is probably pretty scary at this moment in time. They purposely make you scared. They're going to manipulate you for the next step, because the next step is this. She produces this. This is a brand new mouthpiece that nobody has ever used. And the good news is, you can buy these. We get trampled again in the rush of the people running to the front and buying one of these. You've been manipulated by fear. Now, you could say, well, there's nothing wrong with that. And I think you're probably right. There is nothing wrong with being manipulated by fear. The main issue with fear is what it does to you as an individual. It stops you from trying new things out. It stops you from achieving your full potential. And that's the problem with fear. It stops you from even trying things. This is Naz. Naz is my old boxer dog. Let me step out the way so you can see Naz. Now, if you look at his eyes there, I guess you would say he looks a bit scared. He's not actually scared. He's just tired. He's been jumping around for hours and is just trying to lie on the grass to cool down. So he's not scared. You can see he's a white boxer dog. What's difficult to tell from the picture is Naz's size. Now, boxer dogs are supposed to be a medium-sized breed, but nobody ever told Naz he should be a medium-sized breed because he carried on growing and growing and growing. He was physically huge, the biggest boxer dog I've ever seen. So when we used to go for a walk, you could see people walking towards you that would stop. They would see this white monster dog walking towards them, and they would avoid him. They would cross the road, walk round, come back round behind us. They avoided him. Now, if they'd actually met him, they would have realized that Naz was just a big softy. He just wanted to play with everybody. The only thing you had to worry about Naz was getting slobbered all over, a typical boxer dog trait. So I'm not talking about Naz because of people being scared of him. I'm known for firewalking. I've taken tens of thousands of people across fire. I've got 2 Guinness World Records for the greatest distance walked over fire. But one of the things I'm also known for is walking on broken glass. And when I first started walking on broken glass, I used to do it on a daily basis. I would tip out hundreds of broken bottles and walk up and down them. So one nice day, I'm walking up and down the broken glass, and the phone goes. Now I'm outside in the garden because it's a nice day. I'm talking away on the phone. I turn around, and Naz is in the garden, and he's walking up and down the broken glass. Straight away, I say, stop! He stops, he looks at me, and he continues walking again. I checked his paws straight away. There's no cuts, there's no glass. Why did he do it? Because Naz had no fear of broken glass. I'd never had a chat with him and say, probably not a good idea to touch broken glass. It's probably going to cut your paws. And if you do not have that fear, you're quite happy not to avoid that situation, and you will carry on and try it. But what if you're not like Naz? What about if you have that fear? How can you make it your friend? I want you to imagine you're camping. And you've built a nice campfire, and you're next to the tent, and you've noticed the pile of wood gets smaller and smaller to a point you think, I'm going to need to go and get some more wood to keep warm. And the reason that you need to keep warm, you're a naturist, so you're naked. So off you go to go and get you some more wood. And while you're collecting it, you cut yourself, quite a deep cut. You've got no clothes, you can't bandage it, You need to stop that cut straight away. You're back at the fire, you look at the fire, and you plunge your hand into the fire. You cauterize that wound to stop the flow of blood. Now, short term, you have got some major discomfort. But long term, you have the benefit that you're still alive. So how can you control your fear? Now, the thing with fear, you can only control it. You can't obliterate it and get rid of it because it serves a purpose. And that purpose is to keep us safe and promote life. So I'm going to give you a nice, simple thing that will help you control your fear and stop it being an enemy and make it more of a friend. You're going to burn your fear. You're going to cauterize it. 4 simple steps. What normally happens when you come across a scary environment or something that you're scared of, you can either hyperventilate or you hold your breath. What I want you to do is take a nice deep breath through the nose, through the top of the head, out through the mouth. Because now you're slowing things down. You're starting to control your breathing. You can start to control your thoughts. But you can only do that by taking a nice deep breath. So you've got the oxygen in, it now hits the brain, which means you can think clearly and quickly. You can now move on to the next part, which is very simple. You need to understand what's going on. Why are you scared of this current situation? What's the worst case scenario that can happen? And the thing that I always like to ask myself in a scary situation, what is the worst case scenario? Will I die? And more often than not, you won't die. So once you accept that, you can now actually start slowing things down and thinking, okay, it's not as scary as I thought it was. What would be the benefit of me going through with this scary thing now? So you can start to break it down in your head because you've got the oxygen and start thinking about what's happening. So you can understand what is the situation you're in, what is the worst case scenario, and what steps are you going to take. Which then leads you to your response. Now, what normally happens in a scary situation, 3 things tend to happen. First of all, potentially, you want to fight the situation. Secondly, you might want to run away as quickly as you can. Thirdly, you stand very still and hope that fear just moseys on past and doesn't see you. They're your normal 3 standard responses to a scary situation. You now have a 4th one. You can decide what your response is. Is it something that you've decided that I'm not going to run away from, I'm not going to fight with, I'm going to make this my friend. I'm going to take control of this situation. Now, sometimes that will mean just taking very small steps towards this scary situation. Let's see how it goes. But sometimes, regardless of what you do in that situation, you are not ready to make fear your friend. Which leaves you to the 4th step. You never give up. Sometimes you walk away from that situation, you do your research, you find out why you're scared of it, how it can benefit by overcoming it. Now, for those that were scared of sharks, you might never ever enter an ocean because you're scared of sharks. You decide that you would like to possibly try it, so you get into the ocean. And what's the benefit of getting into the ocean? If you're a snorkeler or a scuba, when you get underneath there, it is a fantastic place. The corals, the wildlife, there is so much more that you can explore, but if you run away from that fear, you will never get the benefit of doing that. So any fear that you come across, burn it. Breathe, understand, respond, and never give up. By making fear your friend, you will open the door to the prison of avoidance. You can start that journey to a more fulfilling life. You can ask for that pay rise you deserve. You could start that business that you've always wanted to do. We will all find more sparkle. But more importantly, you will walk away and ensure you never experience the despair of regret. And you will never think, what if? Thank you.